Starting a new book today, How to Teach Listening by J.J. Wilson. This is part of the How To series, which is probably familiar to other English teachers. How to Teach English by Jeremy Harmer, How to Teach English with Technology, How to Teach for Exams. Um, Now, of course, half of these are written by Scott Thornberry. How to Teach Speaking by Scott Thornberry. How to Teach Grammar by Scott Thornberry. How to Teach Vocabulary by Scott Thornberry. But this one is actually not by Scott Thornberry. This is J.J. Wilson, who's somebody I've actually not heard of before, but I guess a teacher trainer, materials writer, etc. And this is his book here, How to Teach Listening, part of the How To series. So this is, if it's not obvious already, this is a book I'm reading for professional development, my development as English as a second language teacher out here in Vietnam. It's a bit of a, I should not actually be starting another book. Because I've had trouble juggling books in the past, and I've made a new rule for myself to try to go beyond no more than two books and maybe a comic book. And I've already got two books that I'm currently reading. But this book was part of my professional development goals, which I had to file with my school. So it gets pushed to the front, and it is short. 183 pages. Actually, some of that is appendices, so the actual text is much less than that. And you can see it's big print and stuff like that. So, with any luck, this won't take take me long. What? Excuse me. One of the reasons I want to start it now rather than later is because I'm teaching a listening course right now. The course is 4 weeks through now, and they're only 10 weeks in total. So, and it's not guaranteed I'll be on a listening course the next term after that. I could get changed over to a reading course. And I don't want to be reading a book on listening skills while I'm teaching a reading course. I mean, it could be done, right? It's not impossible, but it would just distract me. It would not distract me, but I would lose motivation to read. So I'm gonna try and get this done in the next few weeks. We'll see how it goes. You can check in with my weekly reading vlogs and see how it goes. My reading recently has just been terrible. I mean, having two kids and being busy at work and everything does not help. It also must be admitted my focus has not been great. Social media has destroyed my attention span, just like a lot of people nowadays. And I find myself getting on my phone instead of concentrating with my reading. But I still have a hope that I might somehow find that power of focus and concentration and just blitz this one out in the next few weeks. I've got actually one more book that is on my professional development plan, which I got out of the library today as well. Getting things done, the art of stress-free productivity. So this is more of a personal goal, but this book was recommended by my manager. So this one would be next. But that's not the book I'm talking about today. That would be, I guess the point being, the goal would be to blitz through these as quickly as possible and then just get back to my normal self-selected reading because it's hard enough these days just to find time for the reading I want to do without fitting in extra reading projects. But one of the reasons I selected this for my development goals is I'm teaching an intensive listening course at the moment, which I sometimes get assigned to do at my school. And I want to find ways to increase student engagement because the students will often get disengaged by it. my professional goal last year was to do receptive skills and find different activities that would increase engagement with receptive skills. But then, as things happened last year, I for one reason or another, some reason only be known to the school schedulers, I only got assigned reading classes last year. So I developed a lot of activities for reading classes. Sorry, when I say developed, I mean I found other activities from other sources and tried them out in my reading classrooms. But I never got a chance to try out listening activities. Now, listening activities is a little bit of a harder nut to crack, I think, because with a reading activity, reading was easier to design engaging activities around because the reading text you could manipulate in any number of ways. You could delete words from it. You could have a fill in the gap activity. You could have a wrong word activity. You could have a running dictation activity. You could have reconstruct put the sentences in order activity. The fact that it was printed on the page lended itself to activities. Listening, I'm having so far having a trouble devising activities around it. And so I'm hoping that this book will help me fulfill my goal of finding more activities to use for listening. Although we'll see. Looking at this, these symbols indicate activities that can be used in the classroom. So you can see it's got tons of activities that can be used in the classroom. But the problem is, the listening audio is already part of the curriculum. So I can't bring in my own audio. I mean, I could as a supplemental, but they also have to get through the audio in the book. And these activities look like they're mostly designed around live listenings or using your own audio or something like that. Yeah. Actually, some of these I could probably adapt to the audio I'm using. We'll see. There's a lot of activities in here. Optimistic approach is that some of these I should be able to adapt to the audio I need to use. Now, looking at the overview of the book, this does look very basic. And I've been teaching English for a number of years and have done a number of qualifications at this point. So things like listening for gist, listening for detail, inferring, dictation, pre-listening activities, pre-teaching vocab, post-listening activities, creative responses and discussion. These seem like just CELTA 101. Now, to be fair, that's not a problem with the book. It's designed for this. In fact, he says right in the introduction, well, the book caters for teachers with little or no experience. That's definitely the target audience. But then it also goes on to say, more experienced teachers will find fresh ideas and perspectives. And it does, even just flipping through this, I think I can see some new activities. The goal is going to be, we'll see how this goes, but the goal is going to be to try to now balance reading 3 books, plus the comic book I'm currently reading, but to try and just blitz through this as quickly as possible. I mean, on the one hand, a lot of days I feel I'm just so busy there's just no time left to spare. On the other hand, I do waste time on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube every day. If I can just maybe focus a little bit better, maybe I can blitz this book out and then move on to the other book for my professional development, and then check those professional development goals off for this year. So, anyways, stay tuned, I guess, to see how I come along with this book.